Runa here. As requested, I am doing the gear that I finished with on the Appalachian Trail from April 24th to October 5th. I thru-hiked the trail, and this is basically what I used. I want to preface this before I get started that this was my first backpacking trip. So I basically just kept all the gear I started with, and it pretty much ended with all the same gear. Yeah, so let's get started. First up, we have my backpack, the Hyperlight 3400 Wind Rider. This is a water-resistant backpack. I liked it for the most part. Sometimes it would dig into your shoulders if it was too heavy. But as far as like the water resistance thing, 99% of the time it would work, but when it would rain, there would be condensation on the inside of the bag. So I would put a microfiber towel at the bottom, and then I would make sure my sleeping bag was in a dry sack, because I kept that at the very bottom of my bag, and then everything was fine. I believe the condensation developed because your back gets so hot when you're hiking, and then when it hits, like, the bag hits cold air, and then the hot back, it like makes the right humidity to make that happen. The only other thing about the bag is that in the White Mountains, one of my belt pockets on the right here developed a hole. At first, it just was frayed, the fibers were frayed, and I think it's because I was rubbing up against so many rocks, just trying to get through parts of the trail. And then now there's a hole about, like, I don't know, this big, about the size of my pinky tip or fingertip. But yeah, I didn't really use my hip belt pockets for anything special. My phone went into something completely different because it was too big for the hip belt pockets. Okay, item number 2, we have the tent. I did the Light Heart Solo tent, and I will insert pictures and more info about each item after I mention it. Anyways, this is one piece of gear where I would change in the long run. The tent did what it was supposed to, kept me sheltered, kept me dry for the most part. Like, it never leaked or anything. Just like with all tents, condensation would get in there. But the thing I disliked the most is it's got this neat triangle diamond shaped thing, but the corners come down into a triangle like this, and my head, when I'm sleeping, would end up in one of the triangle areas. So when I would wake up, I would hit my head on the top of the tent, and then like any condensation that was there would kind of come down. And when it was hotter out, it wasn't as well ventilated. Like, I know you can roll up the sides and everything, but I like my privacy, so I didn't really use that as an option. Basically, if I were to get another tent in the Light Heart Solo or Light Heart gear line, I would probably do like a Firefly or maybe a So Long, where there's vents at the top and then the corners are more boxed off instead of tapered down. If I were not to go with a Light Heart tent, I'd probably do a Big Agnes or a Nemo Hornet. So, and I think I'll get one of those tents anyways, because towards the northern states like New Hampshire, some parts of Maine, and a few parts of like Connecticut, I think, you'll come across campsites where it's just like you're only allowed to camp on wooden platforms, and the shape of this kind of made that a little awkward. Like, it wasn't impossible, but it made it awkward when you had to like split the platform with other people. Anyways, on to the next thing. Next up, sleeping system. This is a 0 degree down quilt from Cedar Ridge Outdoors. They are a hammock company, and I'm not a hammocker. So how I got this was, there was a contest on Backpacking Outdoors Facebook group, and they do it, or they used to do it quite often. I'm not sure about recently because I haven't been on there, but you would buy sticker packs for like $20 as an entry into a contest to win gear. And I won a $250 gift certificate for the Cedar Ridge Outdoor Company, and I got a top quilt. And yeah, so I decided to bring this with me instead of the lighting equipment bag that I have. This one was lighter than the EE bag that I have, and this one was at a 0-degree rating instead of a 20-degree rating, and mainly I took it because it was lighter. So, and before next, the one thing I didn't like on this bag was that the cords to wrap around your sleeping pad, they used to be like more adjustable. It was kind of like a slip knot thing, but they came unraveled a couple of times. North Star fixed it one time for me, but then after that I didn't want to deal with it, so I just came up with this sturdier knot to fix it. And also, one thing I really like about it is that it opens up all the way versus the EE bag I have that does not. And now we're on to the next thing. Alright, next thing is my sleeping pad. I have a climate insulated V Ultralight SL. That's what it says on the top. And it did good. It didn't pop or anything. No complaints. I also started with sleeping bag liner from Sea to Summit. It's the red one. I don't remember the name of it. And then it got really cold in the whites, and I bought a second one at a hut. And that all kept me warm. And then the last thing for sleeping is my pillow. It's from a company called Cocoon. It's a travel pillow. One issue I have with the blow-up pillows is they're a little bit too tall for my neck. And when I was visiting Captain and Crunch in Germany, we were testing out some of their gear, and I really liked their pillows, so I decided to get one. Alright, next up, trekking poles. These are Lucky trekking poles. Again, I can't remember the specifics. They did pretty good. I did bend this one a little bit so it doesn't fully collapse. And then, yeah, they did what they were supposed to. No complaints.